Oh yeah, Cat. Words of wisdom. Drop that zero and get with the hero. Excuse me?
Before we begin, if you want to see music bios or more good videos like this, hit the subscribe button. Also, I've started a Patreon account. On here you get more copyrighted material and they'll be uploaded 48 hours prior to YouTube. If you want to support or visit, link is in the description. And without further ado, on to our feature presentation. The movie begins with Johnny Van Owen. I guess Vanilla wanted to make a play on his name, Robert Van Winkle. He's a rapper, and he starts the movie off by rapping the theme song for the movie called Cool as Ice. Cool as Ice. Naomi Campbell actually did background vocals for this song, and it wasn't a CC Factory situation. In fact, she had a whole music career. It didn't go anywhere. Wait a minute, this ain't her video. But anyway, after he gets done with the show or montage or whatever you call it, Johnny and his crew hop on their bike and go to the next small town. While in the small town, he catches an eye for a brunette on a horse. Johnny is being a bit of a douche because his showing off, the horse got scared and caused the girl to fall off the horse. She justifiably gut punches him, and Johnny assumes that he is her type. One of the crew's bikes starts to malfunction and they drive to a repair shop where they hang out, pretty much for the rest of this movie. The crew take the whole make yourself feel at home thing way too far though. Johnny then spots the woman he helped fall off the horse, and she does have a name, it's Kathy, and she has a boyfriend named Nick, but he keeps calling him Dick, and he's already unimpressed with him. Johnny tries to become Mr. Steal Your Girl and advises Kathy to dump Mr. Boring and get with Mr. Cool.
Oh yeah, Cat. Words of wisdom. Drop that zero and get with the hero. Excuse me?
Johnny goes to his crew where he brags about stealing her little black book. Kathy is then spotted on the local news about her achievements, but Johnny isn't the only one viewing this. Some other men are seeking her father as he's been under witness protection without much reason. The next day, Johnny shows up uninvited, but Kathy isn't home. She's at the Sugar Shack where he pops up. Johnny is on some next level stalker stuff. At the Sugar Shack, the music is drowning out the vibe of the club, so Johnny comes in and unplugs the band and he performs The People's Choice, which samples Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself. And if I was Sly Stone, I would crack Rob in his skull for butchering his song and sample because he sounds dull as all hell.
Choice. Thank you for letting me be myself. I wanna thank you.
After the performance, Kathy is impressed with him. She gives him 24 hours to return her little black book, which is an organizer, or she will call the police. The way things are going, she should have called the cops anyway for potential stalking. And speaking of 24 hours, the hitman shows up to Kathy's father's home and orders him to fork over $500,000 or face the wrath of the hitman. Back at the Sugar Club, Kathy and her boyfriends have an argument about the dance and she decides to walk home. While walking home, she is being followed by the hitman until Johnny shows up and saves the day. He orders her to hop on his bike and he takes her home. Father then scolds his daughter not to accept rides from strangers, especially given his circumstance.
In the future, I wouldn't recommend taking rides from strangers.
Well, Dad, if you would let me explain, I was just...
No explanation necessary, please.
Nick is outside destroying Johnny's friend's bikes. In time for Johnny to spot this, Johnny decides to go full 5-on-1 and he somehow wins. The next day, Johnny sneaks into Kathy's bedroom and wakes her up, but at least he gives back her little black book. They're about to make sex until her brother comes in and Johnny promises him a bike ride. Johnny and Kathy go out on a ride and they connect. They arrive at a construction site and that's when we get the song Never Wanna Be Without You. And when I first heard this rap song, I said to myself, why is he rapping so slow and hush? Just listen. After their day on the town, Dad comes crashing in and tells him to get out because of what he said earlier in the movie. Johnny was in contact with the hitman unknowingly, asking them for directions to the Sugar Club. Father then talks to Kathy about the whole witness protection situation he put his family through.
2 other cops were convicted with Walsh. They made some threats. Your mother was pregnant. So when the Justice Department offered us a place in the witness protection program, I said yes.
She tries to insist Johnny isn't working with the men, but Father convinces that he's one of the bad guys. Johnny tries to talk to Kathy, but she gives him the cold shoulder, and he believes that her dad is influencing her decision.
How do I know that this isn't just another town and I'm not just another Monique?
Is this you or your old man talking?
Kathy's brother Tommy visits Johnny, and he's ready for the bike ride, and Tommy shoots the bird at Kathy's ex. But back with the gang, can someone tell me what's going on with them? Because they've been stuck at this bike shop for at least 2 days. Back with Tommy, he shows up home alone and he finds the 2 hitmen. The hitmen were looking for his father, but they decide to hold him hostage. Kathy then shows up and discovers the ring she gave him, meaning Johnny's been here. The gang finally gets their bikes fixed, but they order Johnny to go back and say goodbye to Kathy. That fails, and Johnny gives him a tape. In the tape, it's Tommy telling his folks that he's been kidnapped by the hitmen. Father knows it's certain that Johnny is involved. Then we get a visit from the Zero, and the Zero tells him that he's seen Tommy with Johnny on a bike ride. Father then calls the cops on Johnny, and Kathy runs out with tape in hand. She shows up to find Johnny and his gang, who are surprisingly still at the bike shop. Kathy plays the tape, but Johnny noticed a background noise like he's some detective or something.
So,
That sound. I know that sound.
What sound? Where do you hear a sound?
Thanks to Detective Johnny, Tommy is at the construction site where Johnny and Kathy were hanging out. They bust in and save the day, and after this, Father acknowledges Johnny and thanks him for saving his son. Johnny tells Kathy that it's time for him to leave, but Kathy wants to go with them. Nick shows up one last time to break up with Kathy, but all this gets him is his new car being used as a ramp for Johnny. The movie closes with Johnny performing Get With It, and thank God this movie is over. In all honesty, this movie is 100% booty cheeks. I've seen in interviews that the only reason Vanilla Ice agreed to do this movie was a cash grab, and today he hasn't talked about this movie much at all. Normally I'll have thoughts on the characters, but I only have thoughts for Johnny because he came off very toxic.
Sensational.
He made Kathy fall off her horse, stalked her on in so she could dump her loser boyfriend. He broke into her bedroom and tried to become Mr. Steal Your Girl. Johnny is very unlikable until he saves Tommy. But overall, this was a Razzie Award winning film for a reason. It's a terrible movie, one not worth remembering. And that concludes the Coolest Ice recap. Tell me what y'all think in the comments below. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.